Hello guys. I would say welcome to my lounge room, welcome to my bedroom, but I'm not. I'm actually in my partner's bedroom. So this is going to be a really happy video to film. I love being here. I love being around him. But yeah, today we're going to talk about that one friend that all of us have that seems like is never going to get anywhere. You know, that one person that's every single time you talk to them, there's some kind of drama, always blaming their trauma for how they're reacting. It's always someone else's fault or the fault of the situation, right? And yeah, today we're going to talk about what's going on. I have some notes here, as per usual. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm pretty sure all of us can agree a good way to encompass that mindset of that person is with the victim mindset label. Basically, the victim mindset is when it doesn't matter what happens to you, it doesn't matter what role you play in the situation, the blame is always on someone or something else. So today we're going to talk about why this victim mindset is so draining to you, why living this way is one of the most depressing things you can do, and also how to recognize if you're falling into it yourself and whether you are or whether you aren't, what you can do if you are falling into it yourself, or what to do if you're not and you're just dealing with someone who's in this mindset. Apologies for the lighting today, guys. I'm using natural lighting and there's palm trees in the backyard, so they might be blowing over the camera and casting weird shadows on my face, but just ignore it. We're not here for my face. We're not here for the looks. We're here for the lesson. Being around someone in this mindset is so incredibly draining. It takes all of your energy, mainly because if you're dealing with someone like that, A, they are always the victim in the situation, but B, they can never solve it themselves and they can never emotionally regulate themselves. They always need comfort from someone else, advice from someone else, basically a second opinion to confirm to them that they are in fact the victim. So not only are you doing everything you are doing to be someone's friend on the surface, you are not getting anything reciprocated, because if you bring anything up to them, they're still the victim, and you're also having to play the role of a mother, of a therapist, of an emotional confidant about everything in their life. They want someone to tell them that they're the perfect little victim to every scenario and that they can do no wrong. That's all they want to hear. They don't want a solution. They don't want the truth. They just want validation. So that's going to be draining to you because you're constantly giving this validation and you're never getting anything in return. And most of the time, if you ask for something in return, you're the problem and they need validation for that again. Usually with these people, they make their whole identity their trauma as well. I've gone through this, I've gone through this, I've gone through this. I've made a video about this before, why the trauma card is ruining your life. You should watch that. I will link it right now. Playing the trauma card is the easiest way that they can get out of any scenario. Look guys, in this day and age where not offending someone, not triggering is the key word here, someone's trauma, and where validating people's trauma responses is the societal norm, people are going to play to that, especially these people. If they can't lean on the trauma they've gone through to excuse their actions, and if they can't accuse you of triggering their trauma to get out of taking accountability, there's nothing left. There's nothing left to do. If they couldn't lean on their trauma, they would have to admit that they've done something wrong. They would have to admit that they need to learn a lesson. They would have to actually look inward. And that for these people is their biggest fear, but it is also their downfall. So don't fall into it, don't play into it, and don't allow them to suck all your energy. Another thing I've personally dealt with when being friends with this kind of person, it might be unique to me, I doubt it. I see a big savior complex in a lot of people. There is a savior complex in a lot of people. Just as many people want to hide behind their trauma, a lot of people want to get their self-esteem and their validation from supporting other people, comforting other people. So it can almost become addicting being these people's friend, because you feel important. You have this person coming to you every single day because they need you. They need you. It makes you feel needed. It makes you feel important. But really, if you step out of the picture, someone else is just going to fill your shoes. It's not like you're irreplaceable. So it may feel addicting. It may feel fulfilling in the moment to be talking to someone about their issues all the time and having that non-reciprocal relationship, but it will slowly eat away at you. When I say that is fulfilling, that is a very surface level observation. It is fulfilling in the moment. However, every single time, and if you watching have had a friend like this, you will relate to what I'm about to say. Every single time you hang out with them, you're like all fulfilled and you're happy and you're like, okay, I'm finally getting through to them. I'm finally getting through to them. I'm talking to them. I'm helping them, and they are grateful for what I'm saying and they are listening. And then you pull back. Something happens again that proves to you that no, they have not actually listened. They have not taken anything you said on board. Then all of a sudden, you feel used. You feel like, okay, it doesn't feel fulfilling anymore. It feels unfulfilling. It feels like it's deteriorating you. And it is, because you're constantly outputting this energy, this emotional energy, this comforting, nurturing energy. And these people are siphoning that and using it to feed their ego and feed their victim mentality and not actually taking anything you say into account. They don't care about the words you say. Your words have no value to them. All they care about is getting that fix, getting that comfort fix, getting that validation fix. And you're just a placeholder for that. You can be replaced by anyone else. Anyone else that's willing to do that comforting. And you'll be gone. You'll be worthless to them. This tree is really pissing me off. I really hope that it's not like distracting you watching the video, that this is not distracting. This like tree that keeps going in front of my face is really annoying. Some of the ways I'm describing this friend may apply to you, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you don't appreciate your friends. It doesn't mean that you are a horrible person, that you run off validation. I'm not saying that. This thing is definitely a spectrum, and there's a certain type of person that embodies every single one of these traits to the extreme, which is who I'm talking about and which I'm telling you not to be friends with, not to allow in your life, not to give your energy to. They're incapable of reflection. So if you're sitting here watching this video and thinking, fuck, some of that describes me, you're good, babe. You might be falling into the victim mindset. It is a very common thing to fall into. However, it doesn't automatically write you off and mean that you're an asshole, for lack of better words. If you're seeing this, if you're realizing that, that's good. That is your first step. Awareness of these patterns is always the first step, and without that first step, no healing can be done. So if you're realizing this, congratulations. You've done what 90% of people can't do. That is a random stat I've pulled from my head that is not based in reality, but I'm just saying majority of people can't self-reflect, can't look inwards, lack critical self-awareness skills. And if that does apply to you, just know, if you keep falling into this rut, if you keep falling into this cycle, it is so depressing year after year to be telling yourself the same story of, this is who failed me, this is who did me wrong, I'm the victim, everything happens to me, nothing happens for me. That is depressing. That is depressing. I'm sorry. If you tell yourself this narrative over and over and over for years and years and years, and you don't nip this in the bud right now, you're telling yourself a story that you have no control in your life. You're taking all of your personal power away, and you're going to be sitting here feeling like this, blaming other people, but in reality, it's you, babe. And then all of a sudden you feel like, damn, life has no purpose. These negative things just keep happening to me. I can't control it. I can't do anything about it. It's just a sad life. And it's because you're thinking that way. You don't have to think that way. If you're living with this mindset that you have absolutely no control of your life, congratulations, you just took away the main component into feeling fulfilled as a human being. You've robbed yourself of that. When adversity happens to you and you're sitting there blaming outside circumstances and blaming everything that's happening outside of you instead of taking accountability, looking inward, reflecting on the choices that led you up to that moment, and every single moment in your life that you don't like, you played a part into getting there. And obviously there are some situations in this world where you genuinely are the victim. A random heinous crime happens to you. No, you don't have to sit there and go, oh, this is all my fault. Okay, is there a way I could prevent this happening in the future? We're going to get into how to fix this, guys, if this does apply to you. I'm not just going to sit here and attack you and berate you and tell you that you're responsible for everything negative that happens in your life and all these negative feelings of unfulfillment and stagnancy without giving you the tools to fix it. Obviously, the first step is awareness, because if you don't know that there's something to fix, you're not going to try to fix it, right? But what we can do is, usually in these scenarios, there's a thought that goes through your head when you're living out a victim mentality, and that's why me? Why did this happen to me? Why does the world hate me? Why does everyone hate me? Why is everyone the same? Why does everyone always leave me? Shift that to what now? Someone's broken up with you. A friend doesn't want to see you anymore. What good can you make out of this situation? What we do best as humans, if you ask anyone with a business who creates anything, what is the most fulfilling to them? It is creating something meaningful and something useful out of a bad situation. What's the point of negative things happening to you if you're going to sit there and go, oh, everything always just happens to me? There's no point to that. There's no use to that. It is simply just a random negative event in the world. But everything has purpose. Everything happens for a reason. There is a greater plan. And when you stop asking why me and start asking what now, the solution pops into your head. Because why me? What's the answer to that? There's no answer to that. What now? There's infinite answers. What can I do to make this situation better? What can I learn from this situation? How can I rectify this situation? What now? And that also doesn't give your brain more ammo to sit there in that thought spiral of, oh my God, I'm the worst person in the world and everything always happens to me. It gives you a tangible action that you can do. So yeah, start asking what now instead of why me. Taking ownership of something that hurts you is way more freeing and way more liberating than blaming someone. Imagine you've gone through a pretty shitty relationship, right? And it's gone through a breakup. You can sit there and blame that person. Oh, they were horrible. They were toxic. They did this to me. Yeah, but what are you going to do? 90% of the time you're going to get in the next relationship with someone exactly like that, because you're so focused on, oh, that person was shit. Not, okay, maybe my vetting system's a bit off. Maybe I should choose better for myself. Or maybe you were contributing to the toxicity of that relationship as well. Watch my other videos. What you're doing when you're blaming someone else is you're giving them all the power of your life because they did that to you. And if that was someone else's fault, you can't possibly do anything to avoid that in the future. Taking ownership over your pain, over these negative experiences, yeah, it may hurt your ego, I'm sorry, but it will prevent you going through this in the future. If you're watching this video and you know someone like this and you want to try to get through to them and you want to send them this video, if they come out of this video being like, oh, that's bullshit, that's absolute bullshit, she doesn't understand my scenario, she doesn't understand my life, that is because their ego wants them to keep making these mistakes. They want to keep living in this pattern because they don't care necessarily about the negative things that happen in their life. They don't care about preventing it. They just care about getting the validation and the sympathy for going through it. And if that's you, let me tell you, there's a limit. People will give you sympathy, people will give you empathy, and I'm sure there have been a lot of people that have walked right out of your life and you don't understand why. Well, here's why. It is because people can't do it. People can't keep giving you sympathy over and over and over. It is mind-boggling. It is bewildering when you have a friend like this and you're like, how do you keep getting in the same situation? You're not learning anything. Who is going to stay around and deal with that? If it's going to fall on deaf ears, who is going to deal with that? No one. And if you actually are genuinely perplexed on why this stuff keeps happening to you and you want to keep your friends and you want to keep people's respect for you, you will listen to this and you will flip the script because you care about preventing negative things happening to you. And you care that you're not draining absolutely every bit of life out of the people you surround yourself with. So you're going to flip the narrative from why me to what now? What can I do to rectify this? How can I prevent this happening in the future? What part did I play in this? What choices led me up to this? And if you're a friend watching this with someone in mind that this applies to, and they don't want to learn and you've tried, stop trying. It may make you feel like important, needed, but that's also your own journey to go on and why you need someone like this to make you feel worthy. You are needed. and you are important and you are valued. Everyone watching this, I don't care what mindset you have going on, you are valuable just by being human. You don't need to constantly be the person with answers to feel important and feel a sense of self-righteousness. You're important just as you are. Staying friends with someone like this isn't going to make you feel more fulfilled in the long term. You may be fulfilled in the short term, but long term, you are going to wither away. You're going to be sick of it. And I promise you, one day you will come to that breaking point. You are going to be obliviously rewiring your brain to think that you only have value when you're fixing someone else's problems. And that's not true. You have enough of your own problems to fix. You have enough self-reflection to be doing. So choose yourself. Don't just be friends with someone like this because you're lonely, because they will take up all your time, all your energy, to the point where you'll always be lonely. There won't be time or energy to find another friend, to find more people to surround yourself with, because you are so drained by constantly repeating yourself and constantly trying to convince someone that they're not broken. So yeah, guys, to close this off, you can't fix someone. And if you're trying to fix someone and trying to stay in that situation and help them, even though you know it's hurting you, and even though you know it's not going to do anything, that is ego as well. And that's no good for anyone. It's literally giving like anxious avoidant attachment style trauma bond. And the next thing I can say is always self-reflect. Always, every single situation, always self-reflect. Always keep that humility about you. Ask yourself what you could have done better. Ask yourself how you could lead with love, where you can heal. And yeah, even if you know someone that this video is describing, always lead with love. Don't go and tell them you're stuck in the victim mindset and you're never gonna blah, blah, blah. Always lead with love. That's all they need. They need love and they need self-reflection, and you can't self-reflect for them, so just send them love. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I always love talking about these topics, and I always love getting really into the nitty-gritty of these mindsets and these frameworks, these mental frameworks, and how they affect your life and how they affect the lives of people around you. And yeah, so like this video if you found any value from this. I'm sure everyone could find some sort of value from this, because this is so incredibly common in the world. Comment if there's any specific questions under this umbrella that you want me to answer, and subscribe, because I have multiple videos already coming out, and yeah, just unlimited value over here, guys. So yeah, if you want to learn about the mind, if you want to learn about relationships and connection from an objective point of view, hit that subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.